I'm Sales Team Turnaround Specialist Jeremy DeMerchant, and each week I bring sales leaders like you, experts and insights that will help you level up your leadership, motivate like a master, and ultimately crush your comp plan. If it's time to raise the bar on your team's performance, then it's time for Sales Team Rescue. Welcome to Sales Team Rescue, episode number 90. I'm your host, Jeremy DeMerchant, and today I want to talk to you about something that's been coming up a lot in conversations. And that question is this: do I really need a sales team? And you might think that I'm automatically going to say yes, because this is what I do, right? I help people build and grow sales teams. I love turning sales teams around that are struggling, and I love setting that foundation for a sales team. But most importantly, I love jumping into an existing sales team and doing tweaks along the way and maximizing the process so that step by step there is this continuous improvement. And you see that improvement in your sales results. But maybe, just maybe, not every company needs a sales team. And so there's 3 points that I want to cover today. The first one is this. The question that I get all the time: do I need a sales team? Because can I just use technology to do the work? Can I just have technology do the work? Can I have a nice online sales funnel? And don't get me wrong, I actually run another company that has to do with building sales funnels, so I get it. Sales funnels are really valuable. But depending on what your product price point is and what you have going through the process, is it reasonable to think that you could run Facebook ads that go to landing pages? Maybe there's an opt-in, maybe it goes to a webinar so they get a feeling about the product and give them a link to go buy? Is that doable? Sure. The sales process can be done that way, and there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. However, depending on your brand, depending on the messaging and the feeling that you want to create in the marketplace, you might want to make sure there's people in the mix. And here's why. One is, no matter who, or no matter how dialed in your sales process is, no matter how dialed in the funnel is, you're going to find yourself in a place where people have questions before they buy. Now, you could put chat boxes on pages, and you should put a chat box on any sales page, on any order form that you have, anywhere where that buying decision is being made. Have a chat box available so people can ask. And that might be able to bridge the gap. But what happens is when you have a salesperson or a sales team, that's a resource that you can leverage so that when people have questions, they don't need to go and speak to you directly as the owner. They don't need to speak to the business owner, because if you're like most business owners, you are growing to the point where you're swamped time-wise. And as soon as you're swamped time-wise, you need to start figuring out how to take things off your plate. And if you want to think big about your business, you want to work on your business, not in your business, then one of the things that you're inevitably going to have to let go of is at least part of the sales process. Because if you have something that you can sell at scale, which I think almost everybody needs, then you need to also have the lead generation piece to the level that you can't personally handle all the sales calls that are being set up. So you don't want to put yourself in that spot. But if you rely completely on technology, I mean, even with the chat box, you need somebody. And that chat box person should not be a customer service person. Someone running a chat box, that is a sales role. And as simple as making sure you're asking the right questions. The difference between a customer service person versus a salesperson, the way they ask questions can create a completely different result, different experience for your audience, and a result from a sales perspective. So that's one piece. But the other part is, you want to make sure, like, it's building an ideal sales funnel. It is a lot of work. I know there's lots of ads and promotions and webinars that make it look so easy, so sexy. I get it. I like the idea, making money while you sleep. Ooh, yeah, I get it. However, if your business, and every business model is a little different, so it depends on the price point of your product. It depends on what your upsells are, the lifetime value of your client, how long a client normally stays with you. But when somebody starts going through your sales process, here is what a sales team gives you. A sales team gives you the ability to be imperfect. If you want to create a sales process where everybody goes through from a Facebook ad to a lead magnet to a webinar to sign up, you've got to have this so extremely dialed in. And it's great to have it. Even if it's not perfect, it's great to have this funnel. But you need to have it perfect if you don't have salespeople. Because what a salesperson allows for is for your client's experience or your prospect's experience to be a little bit off or not perfectly matched with the message. Because if your person is perfectly matched with the message, the sales pages, the webinars, and all this should answer their questions exactly. But that's if the only people coming through your funnel are your ideal client, right? You can only focus your marketing message at one ideal client. But it's okay to enroll people that aren't necessarily your ideal client. You just need to focus in one direction. And so a sales team allows you the flexibility to connect with those people who might not fit that message bang on, but who you can still help and who can still get value from what you're offering. So the short answer to my question of do I really need a sales team? I think everybody needs a sales team. Unless you only ever intend to sell products under $100 and you're very comfortable with Facebook ads or other kind of ads and retargeting so that you're maximizing how much contact or communication you have with people that might not buy the first time through. Then maybe you don't need a sales team. Like another one of my businesses, I have a beard balm and like beard grooming products business. I don't have a sales team for that business. I don't need one because the products are all under $100, quite a bit under $100. It's an e-commerce store. But that game we play with ads. We play that game with ads and retargeting and email marketing, things like that. But for a service-based business, for a product-based business, assuming it's not like if your products are over $100, if you're in the information space, you sell a course, yes, you can make sales through a webinar funnel without having salespeople. But I'll tell you this: if you have a sales team that is trained well, that has a process set up for them before they get there, and you've got someone in place to work with them, you're going to see your sales increase exponentially because it gives you that wiggle room. Okay, so my next point is, does pricing matter? And it totally does. Like I said, if it's under $100, yeah, you can probably get away without having a sales team. You probably don't have, depending on the volume and the margin, you might not have the space to pay a sales team if you're selling something under $100. But think about how you can create more of a margin for yourself, more of a margin for your business. I mean, I don't want to say don't sell things under $100 because everybody's business model is different, and I am not in the business of rebuilding your business model. I'm in the business of helping create and optimize your sales process. So yes, if you are selling anything over $100, I will tell you there's a darn good chance that you should have a sales team. And if you should have a sales team, then you want to make sure that you've got a system laid out for them very effectively. And so maybe you're asking, okay, Jeremy, you've convinced me. And if I haven't, send me a message, put comments below, respond, jump on to salesteamrescue.com, shoot us a note on there to let me know what you think. But if I've convinced you, if you do not want to have to battle to get the perfect funnel so you're not losing potential leads, then this is how you start. One, you want to create a process where somebody is taking the calls, and maybe it's you to start. In fact, it probably is, and it probably should be. You want to be able to, the founder's fuel, as my friend Jeremy Pope refers to it, is the fact that you've been doing what you do for probably 10 to 20 plus years, so you know it inside and out. And it's easier for you to answer any questions, which means you are always going to be the better closer on a per call basis than probably anybody that you can bring in. And that's okay. But when you hammer out the process that works for you and you test it with people that are not warm contacts of yours, that have never met you before, and you've attracted them through some online marketing strategy, or people that you just randomly reach out to, maybe not randomly, but maybe it's a cold outreach. When you can design a process that works for you to close, then you've got a process that's probably going to work about 80% for a good sales rep to close. It might take them a little bit to get to that 80% level of what your production was. But once you have that system in place, then you can duplicate them and duplicate them again. And so where you were doing 100% of, let's say, 100 sales a month, well, your 2 sales reps can be doing 80 each. So that's still 160. You've increased your production by 60%. And these are just made up numbers, but to give you this idea, right? It's okay that the sales rep's not going to be as good as you. They're probably not going to be if you are the creator of the product, because you are going to have such a bigger fire and bigger passion for it. But there's ways that you can kind of capture that fire and transfer it or train it or empower it into your team. So that's where you start. Make that process that works for you as the founder and map it out step by step by step by step. What's working? What are the scripts? Do you use scripts? Do you use frameworks? Have you recorded your calls and transcribed them? That way you've got some framework of a script that you can clean up. Scripting doesn't have to be difficult. It seems really heavy because you think you got to think through every single scenario. Just record a call, transcribe it, put it into place. And that's like one solid step for your playbook. But make sure that every piece that's in place that works for you is something that can be documented and replicated. And as soon as you've got that, then you can go ahead and bring on those first 2 reps. Okay, those are the big thing. In fact, I would encourage you, especially if you're building a commission sales team, start with your first 3 reps. Bring 3 reps in. Assume one of them won't work out for some reason. I know it doesn't sound very optimistic. However, it's a very competitive industry and a high turnover industry, so let's just plan for that to happen. And ideally, out of the 3, you'll end up with 2 really great, very competitive sales reps that are making each other better from a competitive perspective and are increasing your production. And that way you shift from you doing 100% of your close ability to 2 people each doing 80% of your close ability, which might be 90 to 100% of theirs. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So to summarize this really quickly, do you really need a sales team? If you're selling something over $100, I would say yes. There's exceptions, but if you do not want to rely on everything being perfect in a sales funnel, then you need to have somebody to have a conversation, because people want to see very clearly how the solution you're providing fits to their specific problem. And everybody thinks they're different. Every single person goes, well, I don't think your scenario applies exactly to me. Everybody thinks that way, which is kind of ironic. So having that conversation gives you the ability to have the people that don't quite feel like they're your perfect client or the marketing message doesn't really hit directly, and have them jump on a call and talk through it, because that's going to allow you to identify what that core problem is for them, and you can show them what the solution actually means for them. That's the difference. Okay, guys? So that's this week, episode 90. Do you really need a sales team? As a general rule, if you're selling something over $100, I'm going to say yes, you need a sales team. Feel free to comment, challenge me, support me, tell me you didn't like it. It's okay. All good. Because you might have a different opinion. And if you do, I would love to hear it. I'm very open. But in my experience, if you have a sales team that allows you to scale, and if you're selling something over $100, that's the area where you might need to be able to have somebody in place to speak to people and show them why your solution is the best one to solve their problem. Okay, guys. So thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Sales Team Rescue. Again, I'm your host, Jeremy DeMerchant. We will see you right here next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And go to salesteamrescue.com for the recording of this episode, previous episodes, and all the upcoming episodes. You will see a big button there that says subscribe as well, so you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all the platforms. Tune in. Everywhere you want me to be, I'm probably already there. If there's a platform I'm not on, tell me and I'll get there. That's great. But if you also want to book a one-on-one conversation with me and figure out if you're in a spot where you want to launch or grow your sales team, go to salesteamrescue.com, click book a time, and then it'll take you right down to the bottom of the video. Book yourself some time with me. We will jump on a call and walk through the key pieces to see if you truly are ready to launch or grow your sales team. Okay, guys, thanks so much. Have a great week. We'll see you next week, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on Headspace TV. Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining me. Let's keep the conversation going. You can find more episodes and a link to join our online community over at salesteamrescue.com. If you haven't already, be sure to hit subscribe and give the show a review to help us reach more sales leaders like you. If you'd like our support in creating your own high-performance sales team, book a call with us at salesteamrescue.com.